Hello and welcome to an InkDependence.com brief video review and water drop test. This time I've got Toucan's Magenta. I'm almost done with these toucans, I swear. It's just a huge collection. I believe I have aqua and umber left, maybe turquoise it looks like. But then we're done with these and I've got a bunch more stuff to move on to. I've got Noodler's Park Red and Lammy's Copper Orange and Mont Blanc Pink and JFK and what's this other one? Oh, the gray already did that. And Defoe and all kinds of things. So, good stuff coming up. This time, Magenta, it's going to be too light for me. It's just not saturated nearly enough. In fact, in just doing the chromatography, it's such a thin ink that I couldn't get to stick to my letter opener in order to get it on the paper. So, anyway, this is a very, I don't know, sort of pale, thin ink. You see some places here on the review where it broke loose something else, which is really weird. I don't know exactly what color was in there before, and mostly it's not there. So I don't know what happened there, but a couple of places it just I don't know, must have broken loose a little fragment of ink from the feed. So anyway, that'll happen sometimes, I guess. Hardly ever see that, but did in this ink. But this sort of pale pinkish color is definitely what you should expect, minus the K and the A and this little bit of weird stuff here. It does bleed a little bit on the regular copy paper. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. It is a very thin ink, so I think it just kind of soaks straight into that paper. This is done on number 14 pad, which is a much smaller Rhodia than I usually use, but I didn't want to write too much of this ink because I kind of just wanted to get done with it. It's not going to be for me. It's going to be for some people that really like doing art ink, or maybe for mixing, perhaps. Here it is in the sample vial that I got from Anderson Pens. Thanks very much, Brian, Lisa, and Dave. And I hear they might have a new employee, which is neat. That brings them up to 4 people or something instead of 3. Well, really 2, because Brian's still got a full-time job. So anyway, you can see this is a very thin sort of ink. And I have quite a bit of it left. And when I think of magenta, I don't think of, a pinkish ink that you can see through. I think of I don't know, like a really dark reddish maroon or something. Maybe that's just me. But this one is definitely more of like a carnation or something. Like a flamingo pink is what I think of when I see this. This is in my Montverde Impressa, which is not in here. It's set to be cleaned. There you go. Oh, it was a knockoff. It was the other one. It was this one. There we go. This is a knockoff. I think it's one of those Bauer or Bohr pens. Bohr, maybe? Let's see. Has it still got this in there? What does it got in there? Let's take a chance. I don't actually know what color that is. It might be this. Anyway, I didn't keep track of this one very well. It's kind of a knockoff of the Impressa. It's not quite as good, although it was, I think, like $3 on the Bay. So if you want an Impressa that's not as good as an Impressa, but only costs $3, this one's not terrible. Anyway, I'll review that maybe at some point. Anyway, I just really kind of wish this one was more saturated. That's the bottom line on this one. You can see it here next to a bunch of other things. Of course, I didn't have any flamingo pinks. You can tell I've been grading for like 4 or 5 days straight. My mind is fried. So it's there next to Amethyst and Nikita and Herb and Stormy Gray, which let's see if I can get it to shine in the light for you. This is a Sparkle Pony ink for sure. Yeah, there you go. It's in that gold sheen. That ink has actually been in this one pen, which is a Diplomat. This is a bit of a scatterbrained review of what are you going to do. This here, Diplomat Optimist with this nib right here. And it's actually been in there for quite a while, and I have not had any problems with clogging or flow or anything. It works just hell. I'll go ahead and write on this. I'm not going to use this review again. No problem at all. If you tilt the pen up and down a little bit, you get much more of that gold sheen. If you've been writing with that pen for a little while, you get mostly gold sheen, which is kind of awesome. I mean, if you're into gold sheen. I mean, a lot of gold sheen there. It's kind of flaky. Let's see, there's the, yep, there it is, right there. You actually get a lot more of that as it dries. That's the deal with that ink. So anyway, try that out if you want a sparkly pony ink. Alright, let's see if this is water resistant. I'm not exactly sure what to expect because my chromatography didn't work as I expected it to, so we'll see how it goes. And my syringe is full of ink at the moment, so I'm just going to kind of take a wet finger and go like this. Get some drops. There we go. Drops of water. Alright, good job. The finger thing doesn't work that great. You can see, even with just a little bit of rubbing across it, it is pretty much gone. I'm not shocked, but the chromatography looks a little bit weird, so we'll take a look at that in here in just a second. Blot it away, and not much came up, but there's not much there either. It's just, this is an odd ink. It's an odd one. But if you're a sketcher or an artist of some kind, this is really nice. It looks kind of It's kind of like I think watercolor looks a lot of time. It shades a lot, but that's just because it's very thin. It won't really shade much on, not awesome paper. And here's the chromatography. This is actually, oh, look at that nice sunbeam coming in. There's ink in the sun. Come on now. Focus for me, would you? Come on, iPad. There we go. All right. This is actually how I dry them. I have this little clippity guy with a magnet, and I hang it off of a lamp. So, anyway, you can see here that a little bit of it stayed down at the bottom. Now, as I mentioned, I had a hard time getting it on the paper because I don't have this in a pen anymore, and I was trying to use my letter opener to make a splotch, and it did a bit. You can see the water has gone up past the ink, so I guess that's about as far as it's going to go. I didn't use that much water this time, but a lot of it stayed at the bottom, interestingly. And then you look here, and nothing really stayed. So you're never sure what you're going to find from chromatography. Here you do find, though, that this is really just a straight-up pink ink. There's not really anything else going on here, which is interesting. These Toucan inks are kind of monochromatic, a lot of them. A few of them have a little bit of stuff in them, but this one, monochromatic, more or less. Anyway, there you go. So this has been Toucan's Magenta, which is oddly named if you ask me, but maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. And you can only get this from Anderson Pens. This says .net because I've had these for a little while. Sorry, Andersons, I've been slow. But I'm going to pick up these reviews a lot during the summer, hopefully. You can only find this at andersonpens.com or .net. Both addresses will get you to the place nowadays. You can get this in bags, which is a really interesting way to get ink. They're kind of like... I don't know, if you hike, there are these bags, what are they called? Platypus? Yes, platypus bags. They're kind of like platypus bags, it looks like to me. Anyway, they're pretty cool. It's an interesting way to get ink anyway. Or you can get them in 3 ml sample vials, 3 mils. It's a good amount of ink for a test, and they're like $1.25. So check those out at andersonpens.com. Send them some business. They are great folks. Although they don't pay me to say that, I still will. They do send me free ink every once in a while, and that's cool of them. So, anywho, this has been Toucan Magenta. If you like what you see here and the ramblings of me, go to inkdependence.com if you're not already there. And also, if you want to help support the blog, go to patreon.com/inkdependence or follow the link on the blog to find out how you can lend your support to my efforts. Every once in a while I get a new patron. That makes me very happy, y'all. So, if you're a patron and you're watching this, man, thumbs up to you. There you go, that's one of them, because, man, you make us all, make it all possible. So, thanks very much, and I'll see y'all around.